Hey guys, welcome to Plan the Day on Tomorrow. My name's Gary Thurman, and we have got a special show today because this show will be airing the weekend before Christmas. So we're going to call this our Christmas special radio show. It's the most wonderful time of the year, guys.
Oh, is somebody going to sing it?
It's the most wonderful time of year to do what?
Review
Your retirement plan. So we're going to have a little fun today, kind of throwing some Christmas in with our radio show, how that relates to retirement planning. Because, guys, when we get into Christmas, I'm going to chat with you guys here in a few minutes, but when we get into Christmas, it's just a good time to reflect. A good time to slow down a little bit, appreciate your family. Of course, it's wonderful that we're celebrating the birth of Christ and all the other great things that are going on in there. But, Bobby, I'll start with you this morning. Give me something that just, why is Christmas so special to you and your family?
My family's kind of all over the place, right? Geographically, we've got Jacksonville up here. Getting everyone together in one house, which we get to do this Christmas, is just going to be awesome.
Awesome.
And I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah.
I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, and I love that. And, of course, you got little Juniper, and you got one on the way that'll be celebrating Christmas with us next year, bro.
That's right. Yeah,
That's
got
awesome.
our little boy, his first Christmas will be next year, but he'll be here sooner we know it, in February.
Yeah. That's crazy. Tim, give me something. Or even a memory, if that's what we're looking for. Just something about Christmas.
I've got 1 out of 2 kids that will probably at least remember that Christmas is a thing next year now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And so I'm excited to kind of make it special for her this year. And we always get to see all of our family during Christmas, which is always awesome.
It's so cool. I think the biggest thing is seeing family, right? Like Bobby, yours is all scattered out. We're lucky. Ours is all local here, which makes it, and we plan everything out around that. But I think Christmas gives us a lot of time to sit back, reflect, think. I mean, the cookies are baking. I like our little note here. The reindeer are carb loading. They're getting ready for their big night, right? They're going to be out on the streets there working hard. But I think it is a perfect time to talk about, just what are you doing for retirement and where are you at in retirement? And Bobby, give me something that makes you think around what does Christmas and retirement mean to you if somebody's stepping into retirement, let's say in 2026.
It's really, really something that as you reflect on family and you reflect on what happened this year and everything you're thankful for, you also need to reflect on your plan, right? Why you're kind of in that mood thinking about things. You just need to take a look at the full picture, and retirement's a big part of that.
Sure is. And Tim, I think when we look at Christmas, and like I said, we're slowing down to reflect, I think a lot of people would benefit if that was their mindset in retirement as well. Slow down, reflect, see what's going on around you.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of times we get folks that come in, they've just retired, and we say, well, what are you doing with all that free time? And they say, what free time, right?
Yeah.
And they're probably busier now than they ever have been.
That's awesome.
But the good thing is they're busy with things like taking care of the grandkids and traveling and volunteering and all these other things that they've wanted to do their entire life, and now they've got time to go do it. It's keeping them busy. It's keeping their mind sharp. I think that's awesome. But taking some time to slow down and reflect, especially during a time like this, is, I think, crucial. I make sure that I take a few days, at least around Christmas, and I don't touch my computer. I hang out with the family,
Right.
run around with the kids. Yeah. We have a good time.
Yeah, life can get so hectic. You're right, Tim. Right, just being able to unplug for a day or two and be present is a really cool gift.
And Bobby, I also look at this like, I'm reflecting with the birth of Christ here, new beginnings, right? When it comes to Christmas, something Rhonda and I do every single year at this time between Christmas and New Year's is we have our yearly, what we call marriage meeting. We do this on a monthly basis, but this is the one where we're going to reflect back on 2025. We're going to look forward to 2026. We're going to set goals, expectations, all these different things. Isn't this a great time for a husband and wife to come together and really reflect, hey, here's where we're at. Mm-hmm. How can we move forward and get better in 2026?
Yeah, that's an important thing because, we talk all the time about how a retirement plan isn't static. You don't set it
Right.
and forget it. So you got to make sure that you can look back on 2025 at the end of the year and say, how did we do along our plan, right? Mm-hmm. Which milestones or which goalposts did we hit? Which ones need to be adjusted? And what are we going to work for and prioritize in 2026?
I like that.
And that keeps your keeps you on track in retirement to make sure you don't get too far off the guide rails.
Sure.
Yeah, and Tim, do you think that most people, and I know we do, we I hate to use this word, we budget for Christmas. We say we've got nieces, nephews, children, grandchildren. We've got all these different, people we're buying a gift for, which is wonderful. And I love that we get to do that. But this is also a good time maybe to look at your budget or look at your spending plan headed into 2026.
Yeah, it's. I think it's easy for us to spoil our kids, our grandkids, but this is a season of giving, right? We want to make sure we're giving around the Christmas holiday season. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go give a bunch of things that you bought, right? You don't have to spend 4 weeks on Amazon ordering,
Right.
18
Yeah.
toys for your kids. If I can throw in a little opinion myself, I think less toys for kids is actually more productive throughout their childhood.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, if you've budgeted it, it's fine, right? Just make sure that you have at least a guideline of saying, okay, I can spend this much for all my Christmas gifts, or I can spend this much for the grandkids, whatever the case may be. You have to have something in place, or it's very easy to just start buying $20 here, $50 here.
Racking up
goes
that credit card debt.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what, that's what we see.
That's not how you want to start the new year.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Good
in a
for
bigger
you.
picture, right? This is the season where we get cost of living adjustments for Social Security.
Right, yeah.
We've gotten new numbers for Medicare, those
Right.
sorts of things. So your overall household budget is going to need a looking over too going into 2026.
100%. And guys, I know we don't get a lot of snow here, but I was thinking, how does snow relate to this? We have some good friends of ours that have gotten absolutely hammered already this year up north. I mean, I've gotten some pictures. I'm like, why do you live there? I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's beautiful, but we can't control the weather, Tim. But when we're looking at preparing for a bad storm, kind of sounds like dealing with market volatility, maybe future inflation, maybe future taxes. What can people do in these final days around the holidays to maybe get better prepared for that moving forward?
I would argue that if you've made it to Christmas week, it's probably a little late.
Yeah. But start getting ready for next year.
That's right. It's a great time to look at what your RMDs are and make sure those are done. That should be up on that list pretty high. If you're going into your first year, you get a little extra leeway, so don't panic. And I would make sure that you understand what that RMD is and how it changes each and every year, and have a plan for what to do with that. Again, this is the giving season. Part of what we're doing with RMDs is using something called QCDs, Qualified Charitable Distributions. It's a great way to give back and get a tax deduction at the same time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And what about taxes, guys? I mean, I hate
It's
you don't want to spend the holidays talking about taxes.
It's the giving season. We got to give Uncle.
But how many times? I can't. If we had $1 for every time one of us has said we're in the third lowest tax bracket we've ever been in, Bobby, now's a good time to start thinking about future taxes in 26, 27, 28, and what you're doing to plan around that.
Tim and I had at least 2 meetings this week, really just around Roth conversions. Again, we're getting real late to get those done, but it's certainly a thing that makes sense. And for those 2 clients, they're doing, I'll say, really large Roth conversions.
I love it.
Income is lower, $100,000 plus of Roth conversions, just because in their situation it makes sense.
And it's going to be so good for them down the road.
That's right. Go ahead and pay the taxes now. Third lowest tax bracket ever.
That's right.
There's some other circumstances for these clients that make it just more of a home run. But now you get tax-free growth for the rest of their lives and their beneficiaries' lives too.
And so, Bobby, were you just saying that? Tax-free growth, tax-free to the beneficiaries. You talked about you and your whole family's going to be getting together over the Christmas holidays. Is there some things that maybe it's good to have a conversations with the family about, like estate planning, like legacy planning?
Yeah, it's important, right? And when you sit down, maybe don't do it around the Christmas tree while the kids are opening in presents. But it's always important, in my opinion, to talk to your family about these things, and especially as estate plans are updated or adjusted. Make sure your family's in the know. I've been through estate administration both ways, right, where the family knows exactly what's going to happen. They've talked about it before mom or dad passed away. It's so much easier on the family, because that's a hard time anyway.
Oh, absolutely.
Money aside.
Yep.
And then I've seen it the other way, where the family doesn't have a clue what's going on, and that just makes it so much worse.
There's a nice medium to that too. You don't necessarily have to divulge all of your assets so that your kids know what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
You can do it in the sense of, hey, here's where all my paperwork is. If you ever need it, you know where to find it. And I've put a copy of most recent statements in there as well. I update those on a regular basis.
And I think if somebody's listening out there and you have adult children and you're listening to our show right now, what a great time to bring yourself and your adult children in to see us so we can work that out. You know, mom and dad, eventually, if they're going to pass some money down, it'd be nice for them to know exactly where the money's going, working with fiduciary advisors like you guys. And I mean, I just think it's a big deal. And you know what? Just like the wise men, they brought the gifts around Christmas. We want to offer you a gift today just by listening, and that's my book, Plan the Day on Tomorrow. You can do two things. You can call 423-710-9199. Just let the ladies know you'd like a copy of my book. They'll send it right out to you, no cost whatsoever. Enjoy the book. After you read the book, then give us a call back. Come in and sit down with Bobby, Tim, Brogan. Have a great conversation about your retirement plan. Another thing you can do that makes this so easy is text the word book to the same phone number, 423-710-9199, 423-710-9199. Again, text the word. We're going to reach out to you, get your name, address, all that good stuff. Put it in a package, send it right to your front door, absolutely complimentary. And again, after you read the book, I'd love for you to call, come in and have a conversation with the guys. It's just a conversation between you and them. There's no obligation whatsoever. Come in, enjoy the book, enjoy the advisors, and let's get your retirement plan set up right where it should be. When we come back, we're going to talk about Santa's checklist. He's checking it twice, guys. We'll be right back. Here's the truth. 70% of us will need some type of long-term care. Most people aren't prepared. And traditional long-term care insurance, it's expensive, and if you don't use it, you lose it. We have modern solutions, plans to protect your retirement, preserve your legacy, and give you flexibility. Text LTC to the number you see on your screen and get your guide today. Let's plan for tomorrow starting now. Welcome back to Plan the Day on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, CEO, Guardian Investment Advisors, and today's radio show and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook video, it's all about Christmas and getting ready for Christmas, and this show will air the weekend before Christmas. So we're having a little fun with this. And in our first segment, you know, we talked about some different things about what do you talk about with your family this time of year? What are some things you should be reflecting on this time of year? What are some things that you should be concerned about this time of year? And we want you to enjoy your holidays, that's for sure. But I want to go over, Santa's got a checklist, right, gentlemen? So he checks it twice, all these good things. And I love all the shows about this. Are you on the good list? Are you on the bad list? Naughty or nice list, right? Makes me think of Elf. I love that movie, by the way.
That is a good
Santa!
one.
Santa! Yeah.
I know him.
I know him. But you know, thinking about the North Pole, you know, and we watch all these movies and how hard they work to get ready for this one big night, this one big day. I think it's kind of neat, but let's look at Santa's world versus retirement world. And Bobby, I'm going to start with you. I'm just going to throw something out at you, and you give me what you think it kind of ties in with. Naughty or nice list when it comes to retirement planning?
Yeah, when I hear that and try to bring that back to the retirement planning world, I think about, you know, risk in your portfolio, or, you know, maybe some insurance risk, you know, car insurance, house insurance. We need to have all that. Make sure that you understand the risk you're taking, you know, the naughty side of it,
Sure.
and make sure you're covered for those things, right?
What
And
about
so-
if you're on the naughty list? That means you might have a bad behavior.
That's true. Yeah, if you think about behavioral finance, that's a good one too. If you have financial habits, you know, that may land you on the financial naughty list, it's something that you need to kind of rein in and think about. You know, whether that's, you know, overspending, whether that's somebody who, you know, sees the shiny new investment and just, you know, wants to go, you know, half my investment portfolio
Yeah.
in whatever the hottest new trend is.
Right.
Those things can really derail a plan and get you on the
100%.
retirement naughty list.
I love it. That's good. Tim, you got anything to add to that? Naughty or nice list?
Yeah, behavioral finance plays into that a lot. We talk about that quite a bit with our clients, actually.
Sure.
And it does make a difference as to what you're doing. So be cautious of that along the way. There's no, you know, metric numeral, you know, fact for that, right?
Yeah, Tim, you and I have spent a lot of time here recently talking about, you know, 2026 and what the market may or may not do in 2026, and we don't know obviously what it's going to do.
I might. It's in my desk.
But historically, right? We wouldn't be surprised if there was a lot more volatility in
Right.
2026 in
Right.
the markets, and that makes the behavioral finance part of your retirement plan a a lot more because those things tend to creep in.
That's right.
When there's volatility, either high, the market goes up, market goes down. It affects investors' behavior.
It does.
And I want to stay on this for a few minutes, Bobby, because you just made me think of something else. So if you're someone, let's say you're a pre-retiree, you're 60 to let's say 64 years old, how important is it right now to be repositioning some of your portfolio where you're not at so much risk with that market volatility?
Yeah, if you're getting close to retirement, 5 or less years out, the runway is not nearly as long as it used to be.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not necessarily talking about the 20 or the 25-year-old, right?
No,
You've
right,
got a lot of time to ride the market waves, right? Just get after it and stay the course. But if you're, 5 or so years out from retirement, like I said, and going into 2026, I would be looking at how your investments are positioned.
A lot of folks have most of their assets built up into a 401k at this point.
Yes.
There's a nice rule that's been put into place that says for almost all 401k plans that if you're 59 and a half or older, you're allowed to do what's called an in-service rollover.
I love it.
That allows you to move that from a 401k to an individual IRA. Now, how does that help, right? Well, it helps in a couple ways. The very first one, 401k companies know that their investment options are not as diversified as you could be.
Correct.
And so they allow you to roll out into a self-directed IRA so you can invest in some of these other options that are outside of these 401k plans. The other thing it does is it allows you to take control of it so that if your company doesn't allow you to do some tax planning inside that 401k, you could do that inside the individual IRA. And two of those are two big things that I would encourage folks to look into.
I love it.
And I would caution people, the market has been just absolutely ripping for a bunch of years now. And so if you're looking at annualized returns or year to date or how my
I'm crushing
401k did in the last year,
yeah,
the numbers are impressive, most likely, right? But remember, I always like to say trees don't grow to the sky.
That's right.
And we've had this unbelievable bull market. Don't let it get derailed when the market turns over because it will. Again, we don't know when.
That's
I'm
right.
not trying to scare people.
No.
But don't. You got to be able to look past really good performance for the last couple of years.
That's where the emotional side comes in, right, Bobby?
It really
a big deal.
And we've seen some crazy numbers in 401ks.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm happy for people, but you want to make sure that it's not going to continue forever.
Yeah, good call on that, guys. Tim, we talk about working with Guardian all the time. You're working with a team, and I love how we all coordinate together for our clients and really build a plan around that particular person, their needs, their wants, their wishes. I'm thinking about the reindeer and how hard they work together to get Santa around the world, drop off all these presents and eat all those cookies. How does reindeer teamwork relate to retirement planning?
Does Gary look like he has a red nose right now?
I'm Irish.
Isn't he leading?
I'm Irish.
He's leading the reindeer.
He's leading
reindeer pack.
Guardian
right?
reindeer pack.
No, I mean you think about coordinating dog sledding, reindeers, all this other stuff.
That's
right?
always amazing for me. I love
I
watching
love
that
it.
stuff.
It's fun to watch, right? But you have to watch how they work together, right? Everybody has their own kind of role, and it plays a special part in it. Well, the same thing is true when you're talking about the income planning aspect of retirement, right? Your Social Security has to work with the pension, has to work with annuities that you have, has to work with withdrawals that you're taking for RMDs. All of this plays a factor in the income role, and it has to work together, right? To retire and just start taking income, I mean, it's nice to have these different things, but make sure that they work together in an efficient manner for taxes and to cover that.
And they're all
income plan.
pulling the right way, right?
That's
I'm
right.
going to go off to the side. You guys ever watch that? I loved watching this Living in Alaska show they had on Discovery for
That's
a long
pretty
time.
cool.
Oh, yeah.
It was cool. They had a dog sledding team on there, and it was awesome when they all worked together and they were humming. When one of those dogs gets
Out of
trips
line.
or out of line, it turns into a giant mess really quick, and they're untangling dogs in the snow. So you got to make sure that if you're trying to get all these things working together, don't let you be like the mess of the dog team.
You just remind me of Elf. I'm sorry, I'm going back to the movie Elf again. When Santa's sleigh goes down in the park in New York, what is the name of the engine that Buddy has to fix?
I just saw this the other day.
We'll Google it during our commercial. Okay, let's go on. Tim, let's step to you right now. Let's talk about Santa's Workshop economics. How inflation affects future income.
Inflation will always affect future income. There's two things that I tell everybody to have as part of your income plan. You need to be net of taxes, and you need to have inflation built into it. If you don't have those two things, it will blow up the income plan very quickly. Inflation specifically has been a hot topic as we kind of saw some hyperinflation happen a couple years ago. And it was a nice reminder to folks. I remember the last decade before that, sitting with folks and talking with them about inflation, and they're like, it's not really a big deal. I'm not that worried about it. And we kind of sat in an area where we were very low inflation for a long time.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we got a swift reminder of it. Unfortunately, that's how inflation works, really. It's not a steady 3% climb every single year, right? But make sure that's part of your plan. It needs to be.
Yeah, and
I
you
love
got to
that.
think about it. We're still at sub 3% inflation numbers now, which is great,
Yeah.
right? But when it was 9 a couple years ago, it doesn't come back down. That 9's now baked in. You know,
a
we
common
can have
misconception, yeah.
deflation, right? We don't want that either.
Nope.
But once that 9% is in the cookie recipe, we're talking about Christmas, it's going to be there, right? And you're going to have to pay that increased cost throughout retirement.
Well, the cost of goods is what you're referring to. Guys, I just looked at this yesterday. We had an event in Knoxville last night. The cost of beef is up 14.1%. Now I know inflation is down to 3%.
Yeah,
But the cost of goods are still high.
that was another thing I was going to mention is that inflation, when the government puts out these numbers, it's an average of a whole bunch of
Correct.
stuff. So if your average is 3, you're going to have beef that's up 14. You're going to have healthcare that's up some astronomical number.
Hey, but
right?
TVs are cheap.
But yeah,
TVs are
consumer
way cheap.
electronics are cheap.
Eggs are back down to normal prices.
Yeah, but what's the more important thing, right? In retirement, you want the TV.
Yeah.
You don't need the TV. You need medical care. So
Yeah.
you have to think about inflation.
That's right.
Guys, we're coming to the end of this segment, and I want to jump back into this because there's a lot of good stuff here when we come back on the third segment. But Tim, I'm going to ask you one more before we go here. The importance of having elves in your retirement plan.
Elves, I think, are more like somebody to help you with all this planning, right? Somebody that's helping you kind of prepare for things. Somebody that's kind
Yeah.
of helping you
Yeah.
set things up and put it in order, right? I guess that makes us elves, Bobby.
We're the
Retirement
elves of
planning
retirement
elves.
planning. I like it.
We missed the opportunity this year to wear costumes to work.
That's right.
I
should've
know. We
done
should have
that.
done that, gentlemen.
Oh,
We should have
man.
done that. Guys, listen, retirement planning can be difficult. Retirement planning can be easy. When we come back, I'm going to ask Bobby about our bucket system and how that really plays a part into Santa's economics and how it works for your income planning. But are you truly ready to retire? Do you know if you're ready to retire? A couple things I want to offer you is go to GIAquiz.com, GIAquiz.com. Take the 35-question test. It's really going to open your eyes up a little bit on, hey, I'm actually ready to retire or I'm not. Call, come in and see the guys. Let's start putting a plan together. Something else I'd like to do is offer you a gift, and that's my book, absolutely free. Plan the day, own tomorrow. All you got to do is call or text 423-710-9199. Again, 423-710-9199. If you text the word book, the ladies are going to reach out to you, get your name, address, send the book out to you, absolutely free, right to your doorstep. The only thing I ask is after you actually read the book, give us a call back. Come in to see Bobby. Come in to see Brogan. Come in to see Tim. Have a conversation with one of our great advisors, and let's make sure that we're beating Santa economics for you in your retirement plan. We're going to stick with Santa's economics when we come back on our third segment. We'll be right there.
The scariest 4 words in retirement: out of money forever.
That's the number one fear we hear, running out of money before running out of life. You've worked decades to build savings, but without a plan, that nest egg could dry up faster than you think.
And let's be honest, the market alone won't guarantee your income.
Exactly. That's why we create income streams that last as long as you do. It's about turning savings into a paycheck for life.
To get your income planning guide, text the word income to 877-706-7526.
Hey folks, welcome back to Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors, and today we're having a Christmas show because this show will air right before Christmas, and we're talking about Santa's Workshop right now. Santa's Workshop Economics, gentlemen. And Bobby, I kind of set this up before we went off the second segment there. We have something we do here at Guardian, and we call it our income buckets, our bucket strategy. It's almost like Santa's gift pipeline. Tell us a little bit about our bucket system.
Yeah, one of the most amazing things about Christmas to me is whoever plans Santa's route, to make sure he can get to all those houses in one night. That's just incredible.
That would be Sheena with Magellan.
That's right. Yeah. And here's the cool thing. We do this every year with my daughter. I know a lot of people know this. NORAD, the military folks that, protect the airspace around the United States and North America, they actually track Santa. And so before my daughter goes to bed every year, we pull up the satellite tracker
That's
that
cool.
NORAD has, and you can see exactly where he's at. But I digress, right? That planning that he does to make sure he can get to all these folks in one night is a lot like our bucket strategy. You got to make sure that you have all these things in place, and they all work together, kind of like we mentioned the last segment. But we use the bucket system, the green, the red, and the yellow buckets, and they all have a different purpose in retirement, and you need all three of them in order to have a good retirement. Yellow bucket of money is simply the money you put aside for emergencies. Your reindeer has to go to the vet. You need to fix the track on your sleigh, those sorts of things that have to be taken care of.
Sure.
And then the red bucket of money is going to be money in the market, keeping up with taxes, inflation, like you mentioned, Tim. And then the green bucket is going to be your guaranteed income in retirement. And you have to have all three of those things working together so you can get to your retirement sleigh ride.
There you go.
Yeah, I love that. And the bucket system, Bobby, just makes things easy to understand.
It does. Retirement planning is complicated.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of really technical things that you have to understand and make sure they're in place. That's what your guardian retirement elves are for. Let us take care of that, and then we can put it in our bucket system, and it just makes it really easy to explain, and you understand what each piece of your retirement is doing for you.
I love it. So, Tim, we're talking about Santa and his sleigh and, watching the movies. What is it you watch with Juniper? The track Santa? What is that called again?
Oh, yeah, it's NORAD, NORAD. I
That's
can't
so
remember what
cool.
it stands for,
Yeah.
but it's a legitimate
seen that
military
before.
thing, right? And they do this neat thing where instead of tracking enemy planes on Christmas, they track Santa's sleigh. So
I
you
love
can
it.
see him bounce all over the world.
So, Santa's sleigh, according to NORAD, it goes up and down and up and down. It's up in the sky, it's down on the rooftops. It's up in the sky, it's down on the rooftops. That kind of reminds me of market volatility, Tim. How does that work with Santa's economics?
There are a lot of ups and downs in the market. Yeah, unfortunately, when Santa comes down, it's a good thing. That's not true in the markets, right?
Yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of ups and downs in the market. We've seen some higher volatility, I think, over the last 5 years than maybe we ever have. And this is concerning to a lot of retirees.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a good market overall, but you had to be willing to go through those downs to get back to the up. And much like Santa's coming onto the rooftop is a good thing because he's delivering gifts to the present, the market coming down can be a good thing, could give you a really good buying opportunity if you're still contributing
Right.
to the market. That's the time that we should be looking at contributing to those accounts and making the most of the drop in where it is at the moment.
I like it. So, gentlemen, the name of I just had it here, the name of the engine that Buddy had to fix. I'll find it back in a minute. My phone just went cray-cray. So I'll find it here in a minute. Because I do want, we got to know what that is. Because it goes off didn't it feed off the spirit of
Well,
Christmas?
no, the sleigh is supposed to feed off
Right.
the spirit, but they didn't have enough spirit, so they had to develop a jet engine.
Dang it.
And I think
I'll
it
come
was
up with a
called
minute.
like the I can't remember what it's called. Something 5,000.
Something 3,000 or
Yeah, there
something,
you go.
right? I'm going to find it here in a minute, so we keep going. So, Bobby, let's jump into family gatherings and the real conversations. We love our Christmas parties, the food, the friends, the ugly sweaters. But they remind us of something big. And people plan more for the holidays than they actually do for their retirement planning. And something I think people miss out on a lot, Bobby, when they're talking about retirement planning is healthcare and Medicare and retirement.
Yeah, it's absolutely vital, right? It's going to be the largest expense you have in retirement, and that's even after you get past, not even thinking about long-term care. Just standard healthcare expenses is just massive, and so you have to plan for that. And Medicare is so complicated nowadays, and it's changing so quickly. You really need to sit down and talk about your options with somebody who's in that space
Correct.
every day. That's why we have Coach Medicare here, Tanner Moore. That's what he does. And right now, he's Santa's busiest elf around here.
Oh, he's insane right now.
He's just going, trying to help people make
6 more days.
Make sure
He's
6
got
more
6
days.
more, yeah.
That's right.
Make sure that they're where they need to be. And it's something that a lot of people just set it and forget their Medicare coverage. You know, they pick one when they turn 65 and they never change it. Well, Tanner's told me, you know, I've learned a lot from him. That's not necessarily the best way to do it, and the options can be vastly different depending on what you need.
You
So-
know, I heard Tanner on a phone call the other day with a client. He asked me to sit in on a phone call because a lot of things have really changed with the drug plan, with Medicare. And that's a hard conversation for him to have with people because, you know, our government has stepped in. They've made some changes. So if you're out there and you're curious about Medicare moving into 2026, give Tanner a call, 423-710-9199. Sit down with a real person to help you navigate the Medicare world because it is so difficult. Tim, what about these Christmas gatherings? I mean, is this a time to sit down with mom and dad and say, you know what, guys, what are your goals? Do you have an estate plan? Do you have a long-term care plan? I mean, do you do that over the holidays? I mean, it is important to have these conversations.
Over the holidays, I wouldn't argue that over the holidays is the worst time to do it.
No.
At Christmas dinner, probably not.
Yeah.
But it is a time where probably one of the few times where the whole family is actually together, and it might be a good time for you to sit down with your kids, with your parents, and just say, hey, are things in order? Is there something I can help with? Where do I need to look if
Right.
something doesn't go well, right?
It's often awkward for people to do that for the very first time. But I found that, you know, once you kind of get all that on the table, you know, mom and dad know that the kids are taken care of, the kids aren't left guessing.
That's right.
You know, the second, third time, it's so much easier just to check in and have these regular meetings
Yeah.
with your family. We love doing that here at Guardian, you know, bringing families in and just saying, hey, mom and dad are still going strong. You don't have to worry about your parents. They're not going to live their money. And God forbid, when they go to be with Jesus, things are taken care of, and you know exactly where to
Yeah.
go and who to talk
That's
to.
right.
But what an amazing gift it is for mom and dad or grandpa or grandpa out there to have some type of plan in place, Tim, in case they're one of the 70% of people who get sick. Because long-term care is real, gentlemen, and it is so expensive right now, and it can absolutely devastate your family. So how important we talked about Medicare and how important it is to reevaluate your Medicare plan, but how important it is for people to start thinking about long-term care planning.
Yeah, this is one of those things when we're putting together a plan, I kind of view it as if I'm planning for my mom, right? I love my mom. I want my mom to be taken care of, but I don't want her to move back in with me.
Yeah.
And so I want to make sure that there's something in place to help her take care of those expensive needs that she has.
Yeah.
And something to leverage the assets that she already has. I don't want her paying thousands of dollars into an insurance policy that if she does pass and never has to use, it's
Right.
just wasted money.
It's wasted
right?
money.
And so we're using alternative strategies to help take care of this. And it's very effective in what it's accomplishing, right?
I love that. Let me ask you guys some truth or myth questions real quick. Bobby, if you ignore taxes, they ignore you.
Yeah, that's absolutely that's a myth. We've talked about taxes, you know, all day, every day for the last month or two. You know, doing Roth conversions, that thing. You can't ignore taxes. You got to be proactive.
But
in planning for
don't
them.
taxes go down when you retire, Bobby?
Well, no, probably not. They
Yeah.
could. That's a myth that people used to believe. But with great income, retirement incomes we can provide.
Yeah.
You know, you might be paying the same or more in taxes just because you're retired. And then 10, 15 years from now, I would imagine tax rates are going to be higher. So
Yeah,
you
me
may
too.
be paying more in taxes in retirement than you did while you're working. which is
I like
nuts.
this one, Tim. Fact or truth or myth here. Healthcare costs drop in retirement.
I don't know to put that out there, but that's probably the least true of all these.
It probably is. Yeah.
Not only are you getting older, but things end up compiling at the end of the day health-wise. And so you're probably spending quite a bit more on healthcare in retirement. Chances are 2, 3, 4 times more in retirement than you had in your entire life.
Yeah, we talked about inflation earlier. Inflation
Yeah.
in healthcare is just crazy.
It's insane.
It's a huge number.
I just looked up the Fidelity 2025 report on what an 65-year-old individual, healthy individual, could look at spending in general healthcare costs if they retired in 2026 and moving forward. It's over $172,000, and that's just for copays, prescriptions.
That's not long-term
That's not long-term care.
Yeah.
So it's important to protect your long-term care. Tim, I got one more real quick for you.
Sure.
You should never touch your retirement accounts early.
Agreed. 99% of the
Me too.
time, I would make that a blanket statement to say, do not touch those accounts.
Right.
You don't want to be penalized. There's a couple of exceptions to that rule. where you can get away without being penalized. But for the most part, that money needs to almost not exist to you while you're making contributions before retirement age.
I love it. So the name of the engine's the Kringle 3000.
Thank you.
Kringle 3000.
Kringle. I want to call it Crinkle. I like Crinkle better, but it's Kringle 3000. Anyway, hey, listen, folks, we're having fun today on Plan the Day on Tomorrow, kind of tying retirement planning into your Christmas week that's coming up. And look, we hope you enjoy your time with your family and friends, but this is a good time to reflect and see what you got going on. Why don't you do this for me? Go take our quiz to find out if you are truly ready to retire. GIAquiz.com. GIAquiz.com. 35 questions. Take you 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes to answer it from the comfort of your couch. Then give us a call, 423-710-9199. Come in and have a conversation with our guys. Let's make sure you are set up, ready to retire, and just have a great retirement and live every day like a Saturday. When we come back, we're going to talk about the new year, New Year's resolutions, and things you should be doing right now. We'll be right back.
Do you want to leave memories or a mess?
So many families are left with confusion, taxes, and even court battles because there was no estate plan.
And it's not just for the wealthy. Estate planning is for everyone.
It protects your family, passes on your values, and ensures your wishes are carried out.
That's a real legacy, more than just money.
It's peace of mind for the people you love.
To get your estate planning guide, text the words estate planning guide to 877-706-7526.
Hey guys, welcome back to Plan the Day on Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. Sorry about that. In here with Tim McDermott, Bobby Futch. We've had a lot of fun on today's show because we kind of tie in Christmas into retirement planning. We're going to break away a little bit from the Christmas theme right now because right after Christmas, we celebrate a brand new year. 2026 is upon us. And this is a really, when I was putting this show together, I thought about, we're celebrating the birth of Jesus. And it's really neat to look forward to new things, new beginnings. And, one of the biggest, truth or myth right here, gentlemen, how many people make those memberships and join gyms? They last for about 90 days.
I've been guilty of that in the past.
Oh, my gosh, it happens a lot. But I think there should be some top retirement resolutions, and I'm just going to throw these out at you. Bobby, I'll start with you and just make a comment about it. I think one of your main discussions should be building a guaranteed income you cannot outlive.
Yeah, this is huge. A 401k is not a retirement income plan, right? It's a great asset to use to build that plan. But you really, in order to confidently retire, you have to know where your income is coming from, and it has to be guaranteed.
I love that. So, Tim, we're in the big, beautiful bill. Kind of reflected back on the Secure Act of 2017. It kept our taxes at a low rate. Bobby, what is it you say? They say it's permanent, but it's permanent until it's not?
It's permanent until it's not.
Yeah,
That's right.
but we know it's permanent till the end of 2028. What's something people should be doing right now to plan for maybe future taxes going up?
I think taking advantage of the low tax brackets that we're in. You mentioned earlier that you were supposed to be in a lower tax bracket when you retired.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, that's true right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would take advantage of it while it is low and see if we can pay some of our taxes now to put ourselves in a beneficial state to be tax-free or take advantage of higher tax brackets later, being in the low tax brackets that we are now.
And didn't the big, beautiful bill give us something for 65-year-olds and above where they get a little bit of a deduction they can use for Roth conversions?
Yeah, you get an additional $6,000 tax deduction right now for the next 4
Pretty awesome.
years. That was put in place as an alternative to making Social Security tax-free.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's temporary.
It's temporary. Yeah, 3 years, right? Till
Yep,
2028.
till the end of 28, that's
Yeah.
right.
So, Bobby, what about reviewing your Social Security strategy? Like, let's say you haven't turned on your Social Security yet. Is this not a great time to have that conversation with an advisor and make sure you optimize your Social Security?
Yeah, because you get new numbers, right after you file your income tax return next year, at the beginning of the year, and making sure that you're optimizing your Social Security and it works well with your other strategies and investments you have in retirement is a real big deal. Because once you file, it's kind of done, right? You've made that decision and you stamped that decision and moved on. So let's make sure that whatever decision you make for Social Security is the best one for you and your family.
I love that.
That number's based off the highest 10 years of your working
right.
career. So
Right.
if you're making more now than you ever have, that number may go up for you. And
Yeah.
it's nice to look at it and know what it is.
But don't ignore Social Security, or don't just do what your uncle did or what your
right.
coworker did. Do what's right for you.
And it's not always getting the biggest number.
That's right.
A lot of people, come in and say, I'm going to wait till 70 because I get that 8% roll up.
Yeah,
Great. You're right. You do get that roll up, but we can probably show you why it doesn't make sense if you're retired. And are gonna
Absolutely.
Stay retired.
Gary always says optimizing your Social Security, which
right.
it's a good phrase.
That's what we want to do. And I know we've talked about these next two things already on the show today, but Tim, what about fix your portfolio risk, especially if you're 60 and above?
No matter what age you are, your risk profile should match what your risk tolerance is. If you're younger, there's a very big risk of being too conservative,
Right.
because you're not growing at the rate that you should be. If you're getting close to that retirement age and you're too aggressive now, I know those numbers look good when you log into your account, look at how much it's growing, but it's very easy for us to forget what that volatility actually does in a large recession. And that needs to be checked every now and then to make sure that we're not too aggressive.
And here recently, it's been real easy and common for portfolios to get out of whack.
Yeah.
Because you've had the big run in tech stocks, and everybody loves that. But you can inadvertently be overweighted in those really high performers.
Yeah, let's
And take risk. You'd be taking risks that you're not aware of.
stay on this for just a second.
Yeah, and what do you guys do for someone? They bring their portfolio in, they bring their statements in, and you run them through some software, and it really gives them a visual.
That's right.
Because you get a score, right, Tim?
That's right. It'll show us a complete breakdown of what types of holdings you have, where they're allocated, what kind of risk is involved. And I think this traditional way of dealing with risk, of saying, okay, let's have a certain amount in stocks, certain amount in bonds, is outdated now. And I think that was proved to a lot of people back in 2022.
Right.
Yep.
We forget that the economics have changed. And as interest rates are rising, bond values fall, vice versa, right? So we're now in a pretty low interest rate environment all the way around. And we saw interest rates start hiking up quickly to
Right.
fight inflation back
Yeah.
in 2022. Well, that really hurt the bond market, which was supposed to be the quote-unquote safe part of your
Yeah.
portfolio. That has changed. And so to combat that, we're using our bucket strategy now, right?
That's right. Yeah,
Just make things easy.
And the green bucket is really, with everything that Tim said about bonds, kind of our bond alternative at this point, right? And there's fixed indexed annuities out there that will absolutely crush any bond portfolio you could possibly put
100%.
together right now.
That's right.
Right? You get guarantees first off. You get some roll-ups in some of these products and provide income payouts that, you'd have to be in junk bond status to even try to get payouts that some of these fixed indexed
And
annuities
there's a lot
are
of
offering.
risk involved with that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I want to stay on income for just a minute, gentlemen. I was talking to our good friend Prashant the other day, and he's like, Gary, a question I think you should ask all your folks out there in the Chattanooga and Knoxville areas. So when you're working, the paychecks are coming in, the bills are going out. Paychecks are coming in, the bills are going out. Does that change in retirement?
Well,
does-
the paycheck stops coming in.
The paycheck stops coming, but the bills still keep
That's
going,
right.
right? How are we going to create that pay? How are we going to replace the paycheck? And I love how he said that, because all we're doing, Bobby, is looking to take the minimum amount we can to fill that income gap
That's exactly right.
between Social Security, pensions, whatever you may have. We need to fill that gap so you can wake up every day and not worry about paying those bills. Do you agree with that?
I completely agree with it. And you make a good point, right? You shouldn't have all your money in any of those buckets.
No,
right?
absolutely
It needs to
not.
be spread out. You need to have money in all three. And to Gary's point, the way that we decide how much goes in the green bucket is how much income do you want,
That's it.
right? That's your call.
That's it.
Right? Tell us how much you need in retirement, and we can help you fill the green bucket with just the amount that you need to make those guarantees. Keep the rest in the market. Let it grow. That's your fun money. If
That's
you want
right.
to go take a big trip, you need some extra expenses, you can go pull it from there.
I'd say if you're out there right now and you've got these mutual funds, or you've got a bond portfolio, or you're in a 401k with a target date fund, a lot of that is built up of bonds. This is a great time to review it. Go into the new year with a plan, ready to make some adjustments, deal with that risk tolerance, but not sacrifice the gains along the way.
I love it. So let's do this really quick, gentlemen. Tim, the snowball effect. We're still in wintertime here. Just like a snowball rolling downhill, it grows and it grows and it grows. How does that relate to retirement planning?
Yeah, compound interest is a great way to relate back to that, right? I've heard somebody talk about how hard it is to reach that first $100,000 in savings.
Yeah.
But then the time it takes to reach that 100,000 to $1 million is almost the same time frame, right?
It's amazing, isn't it?
And that's that compound interest, right? As things compound, they grow in a more efficient manner for you. The same thing really could be true on the risk side of things, though, right? If you let that credit card debt get away from you, if you let those medical bills get away from you, if you don't have a plan for them, that will snowball and very quickly ruin an entire retirement.
Small things catch up.
Yep.
I like that.
And I think when I think about snowballs and growing and risk, I think about taxes.
Yeah, me
You know,
too.
Tim, we talk all the time about Roth conversions,
Yep.
and we've got a great tool that can visualize what your income tax liability may be in the future. And it's crazy. It usually shows, a couple of years of high taxes because we're doing Roth conversions, right? Prepaying those taxes. And then there's another set that says, what happens if you don't do anything? Well, your taxes are a lot lower now, but as you get out 20, 30 years, you see this bar graph just shoot towards the sky. And when you need the money the most late in life, Uncle Sam's taking the biggest chunk.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
100%.
To see.
That's right.
Bubba, you got about a minute left here. A clean slate for 2026. Give me a few pointers there.
Yeah, it's the beginning of a new year. If you sat down with your family and or your spouse and talked about a budget, talked about retirement savings goals, those sorts of things, that's really when that new or updated plan really kicks off, right?
Yep.
It's a really exciting time, and you need to make sure you have that plan, right? That's the one thing we do for all of our folks here at Guardian is they've got a plan. They know exactly what goals they need to hit, what they need to watch out for, so keep an eye on that. And it's really, if you are planning for the first time, what a great time to start. New calendar year, just kind of clean. Come and see us put a plan together. It's never too early, right? We meet with 20, 30-year-olds, fairly often.
Absolutely.
And, man, that's the best time to start planning.
Absolutely. That snowball effect really helps then.
Yeah,
So, Bobby, I think you're saying don't enter 2026 just hoping things are going to go okay.
that's right. Yeah,
Put a plan together, sit down with some advisors. They can help you. They work together as a team, and that's what we're all about here at Guardian Investment Advisors, folks. Look, enjoy your family, enjoy Christmas, but as you're thinking about stepping into a new year, how is your portfolio set up? How is your retirement plan set up? Do you actually have that written plan that Bobby talked about just now? Most people don't. They have a 401k. They have a 403b. They have a 457. That's just a vehicle. We want to show you how to put that vehicle into use. Put a plan together with our bucket system. Guys, it's so easy, and it's so easy to understand. Bobby and Tim are ready to work for you, ready to help you understand how wonderful retirement planning can actually be. And as a gift, here we are in the Christmas season, as a gift to you guys today, I want to give you a copy of my book, absolutely free, Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. Call 423-710-9199. Let the ladies know you'd like a copy of my book. They're going to send it right out to your doorstep. Or you can simply text the word book to 423-710-9199. Same thing. They'll get in touch with you, send the book out to you. So again, 423-710-9199. Get a copy of my book, Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. Folks, for myself, Tim, Bobby, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We hope you have a wonderful time, and we're going to see you next week on Plan Today, Own Tomorrow.
Merry Christmas.